yet another honour. I'm sitting here now with the director of the Marbella Film Festival, Mac Chakaveh. Thank you so much for sharing some of your very precious time with us.
You're more than welcome.
It sounds so exciting. This is the 10th edition of the Marbella Film Festival. It's being held this year in the Teatros Goya, which is the cinemas in Puerto Banús, which has been revamped and actually prepared for fabulous events like this.
It's looking a brilliant venue. It really is just the right place for it.
So the Marbella Film Festival, what is it?
Well, as the name says it, it's an international film festival dedicated to independent filmmakers. So we have talented filmmakers from all over the world who submit their works. It's a year-round event, so the films come in. On average, we get about 1,000 films every year. We have judges spread around the world, so films go to the judges, they get shortlisted, they get selected, and then only the absolute handful end up in Marbella in a 5-day event where we screen the films.
And this is coming up this year between the 7th and the 11th of October.
It is indeed, yes. It starts on Wednesday and it goes out through the whole week and ends up with the gala award ceremony on Sunday evening.
Well, it's a very exciting event, and I think it's wonderful because it brings so much attention to Marbella from all over the world. And I love the concept because they're very similar as here in the Galleria de Prado, which is uniting talented artists, street artists, to showcase what they can do. Then now we've got in actual words, pictures, music, and all different languages.
It is indeed. I mean, it is what is known as a cultural tourism. Because of course Marbella is a well-established location for tourism, but of course, like any other tourism business, it is a seasonal arrangement. So what we are hoping to do is to attract more people to come when it is off-season. So that's why the festival is in October. At the same time, obviously, it is an international event, which means you have lots of visitors and guests who are visiting Marbella and hopefully stay a bit longer and come back again. Interestingly, most of our visitors have never been to Marbella. And even more interestingly, they come here and they go, wow.
Well, I think that part is quite understandable because most of us who aren't from Marbella, and that is most of us,
yeah.
Even the Spanish come from all over the place, it's just enchanting to be in Marbella. This is your 10th year in charge of the event. What have you noticed different in this past decade?
Well, in what sense? As far as the film industry is concerned, I think we've moved in quite rapidly. You have to bear in mind that we are dealing with a talent who is reasonably new. And over the period of 10 years, we see a lot of these talents growing up. And then year after year, you meet them and you see them on screens and you see them on TV screens and you say, my God, I remember you coming down there and you know, you were reasonably fresh, but now you're getting there, which is a great blessing because you actually feel like you're doing something. At the same time, the film industry itself is moving on. It's a very good sort of earning potential, especially in UK, so far more interest is being paid there. So ideally it's moving forward. And
your passion for the movies, how did you get involved?
Oh, it's a long story. I was involved in business, I still am involved in business. I went into the TV industry as an investor and then I got hooked with it and I realized how much talent there is and how much commerciality is needed to help this talent to start earning money.
It's the team, it's the together. You have the talent, but if you don't know how to get it out, you need people who specialize.
Absolutely. It is very interesting that you have so many talented people who are not very good at commercial arrangement and making money out of it. So, you know, Marbella International Film Festival is actually a commercial film festival. We are not an artistic film festival. We want to have the filmmakers to come in and learn how they can represent themselves. At the same time, we bring in people from the industry who can do workshops and sort of, if you like, teach others how it's done. This year we are very sort of happy to welcome a number of good professionals from the film industry. We've got the executive producer of King's Speech who's going to do a workshop. We also have a team of American artists who are talking about the American film market.
And can people get involved with these in the sense the
Absolutely.
general public can sign up to these events?
Sign up. I mean, the thing is, if you have any interest in the film industry or the commerciality of it, this really is the venue for it to come. You don't get that anywhere else. Where else are you going to get an American producer, a British producer, and Canadian producer, all of them turning up and telling you how they work? At the same time, we've got one of the best known film distributors, Carnaby, who's actually sponsoring the festival, and their CEO is coming over, and he's then talking about how to actually make your film to be successful, how to market it, how to sell it, and how to distribute it.
It's a gift. It's a gift if you're passionate about these. And I'm thinking already of our own cameraman for RTV Marbella.
Absolutely.
And even Jonathan, who's a new camera boy, who started with us at Radio Television Marbella. And I'm thinking they're all so creative, and it must be lovely to be able to then showcase this to people who matter.
It is. I mean, this business is all to do with networking, as you would know. It's a case of who you know and how you get to contact them. You can't just walk in there and say, I want to see so-and-so. It doesn't work like that. While if you're in an atmosphere in Marbella where it is very relaxed, it's very comforting, people are talking, it's a lot of networking going on, this is a great place to meet others. And of course the other issue is, if you're in the industry, it's great for networking, because if you have a project, if you're based in UK, if you have a project in, I don't know, States, there is your potential co-partner. If you have a project in India, there is an Indian filmmaker who's there. So it brings in the world closer, and where better than do it in Marbella, where everybody is here.
Exactly. I mean, there's no shortage here of nationalities, personalities. Everything you want is here in Marbella.
And at the same time, again, for the expat, it's a great opportunity to see films which they can relate to, because we show films from Spain, we show films from Germany, from France, from UK, from US, Sweden, India. I mean, there are films from everywhere.
And I think a nice touch is what Ros James from Marbella Saul mentioned before, is that this year, for the first time, if the movie isn't in English, there will be English subtitles. So I think that's a nice little addition.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we sort of, that has, with respect, been going on all the time. If the film is in Spanish, if the film is in English, it will have a Spanish subtitle. If it is in a foreign language, it will have an English subtitle.
That makes it nice, because it's really different. It's actually quite surprising to see the variety of movies that are submitted.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, it's mind-blowing that where people's minds come from.
And I mean, again, the other side is that you have different categories. So you have the documentary section, and the documentaries cover from the latest issues. I mean, we have a film, for instance, about the refugees coming from Syria. I mean, good God, this film must have been made last week. And then it sort of goes to the other extreme where people are talking about art. It's a wonderful experience. If you're interested in anything artistic, I think that's the place to come to.
Definitely. And then obviously here to the Galleria del Prado, which is very nice to be sitting in here.
Absolutely.
Especially as joining together, it's that same concept. You are showcasing artists. Here they're showcasing artists, and Marbella is full of artists, and we're going to be very happy to follow Mac along with the Marbella Film Festival to bring you all the updates, show you different excerpts from the different movies, meet some of the producers. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for letting us join in.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
So the first appearance of many by Mac Chakaveh.
Thank you.
And this is where we expect to be seeing you, the Marbella Film Festival that's starting on the 7th of October to the 11th in the cinemas in Puerto Banús in the Teatro Goya.
Thank you.
Thank you.